Toyota 7.5 inch differential out of the front of a 94, 95 Toyota 4Runner. Eventually I'm going to be putting a Spartan locker in it. These are 456 gears. I pulled this out of a junkyard to mess with it until I can get it all done and then put it in my 95 4Runner that I have. This is simple to take off. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 14 millimeter bolts, and then there's two 24 millimeter drain plugs, one on the bottom. This is upside down right now, and one on the cover itself. This is the cover. Goes on like that. Like I said, this is upside down right now. So here's your fill, all your holes. There's your diff breather. And you know, obviously before you put everything together, you gotta clean all these mating surfaces up. But this is the AAD tube, or whatever it's called. This is a E14. It's a star pattern. I tried using an 11 millimeter, didn't work. I almost rounded 2 of them off, so we'll get these taken off right now. Maybe. Alright, so there's 6 of these E14s. I flipped the diff around. Can't tell. You got 2 on the diff housing itself, and then 2 up here and 2 down here where the AAD sleeve goes. And the way the AAD works, there's some gears in there. There's just a little collar that slides in and out to engage and disengage as part of the axle. So, like I said, I tried to use an 11 millimeter to get these off, and I rounded one pretty bad, but I just took this E14, bought them at Harbor Freight the other day, and just tapped it on there with a hammer, and they're on there tight, kind of a pain in the ass to get off, but once they're off, shouldn't be too bad. So these things apparently just hold the oil forever. Because I had actually drained this earlier. Well, it came drained from the junkyard I got it from, but there's still residual oil in there. It's been leaking out for a little while. This was a pain to get out. It was like 100 degrees out. It took me probably 3 hours to get this thing out from the car, but it would have been a lot quicker if the car was higher in the air. Let's see if you can. Hopefully you can make that out, but that's just alright. So my video was out of focus, so I'll just have to explain what I did. So So this is the AAD spacer. Goes like this. The AAD is the automatic disconnecting differential. Because a lot of the Toyotas came with drive flanges instead of automatic hubs, because Toyota thought that the automatic hubs didn't work very well, which I had a friend in high school that had them, and I don't think they worked very well. I think he always had issues with them. So they went with this, and so it has the AAD spacer, and then the tube comes off like this. And the way I got this off was just using my hammer. I just tapped it a few times, and it slowly came apart. There's an O-ring right there to seal the oil in. So that's all that is. And then the spacer goes like this on the differential. I took this screwdriver, put it right here against this part right here, and just tapped it a few times with the hammer, and eventually it popped off. And then before you can get this out, you might have to pull this stub flange out, and this just goes in here. And the way these are held in is, I'll see if this focuses. Maybe. So there's this little ring in here. Hopefully you can see it. There's a ring right there, and that's how it holds in. So the way I did it, is the cross pin inside of the spider gears. Just put my screwdriver against it and just tapped it a little bit until it popped out, and then use this little pry bar here to pry it out. You might be able to pull this off, and then you can probably just yank it out. Probably be a lot simpler. But the way these AADs work, the automatic disconnecting differentials, is the CV axle is held on by a drive flange instead of like a manual locking hub. And this sleeve sits over like this, so the sleeve can spin, and it's engaged on the stub axle in here like this. So what it does is it's got a fork that pulls this out onto this, and then as you can see, it drives both of them. And then when it disconnects, when you go out of four-wheel drive, it pulls it this way, and now the stub flange moves, but the CV axle doesn't. So that's how they chose to do their four-wheel drive on this. I put manual hubs on mine because there's less wear and you're supposed to get better gas mileage. And my AAD system wasn't working, so I ended up just doing the defeat, which I might go into that later on. So that's how all that works. It's all vacuum operated. Looks like there's something on eBay that's a cable drive, which I might do. So like I said earlier, I'm gonna install a spark locker in this. So that's what this is all leading up to. And then this, I think, is the passenger side, and this is the driver's side. So this is the top of the diff. So on the passenger side, it's got the same C-ring in there that holds this in. What I ended up doing, what I read online, is just taking a screwdriver and just hammering it in and then pulling it out, twisting it, and then that collapses the C-ring enough in there to pull the axle out, this little stub axle. So then, like I said, with these E14 bolts, probably best to loosen them while the diff's still in the car. Be a lot simpler. This diff, this should be what's in all of the IFS Toyotas up till 96. In 96, they went to the clamshell style 8-inch ring. This is only a 7.5 from what I understand. 456 gears, same thing as what I have in my car, which turned out pretty lucky. I'll do a little video on my car eventually. But so next, I'm going to have to mark the caps, the bearing caps, and then pull that out. I'll check the backlash, which is the amount of movement this ring moves from this to the pinion gear, in a little bit, and then yeah, we'll be on our way.